easy. This is the matter of Orville Geisler versus Hope Baer and Jeremy Geisler, and this is date and time set for a hearing, a presumption hearing under MCL 722.27B4B. All the parties have appeared today, as well as petitioner's counsel, Sarah Stafford, and Ms. Baer's counsel, Morgan Shire. And Ms. Stafford, did you wish to make an opening statement today?
I did. Thank you, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Thank you. So in this case at hand, I do represent the grandparents of the minor child in question. We're here today to show that my client and his wife, Gail, who's also present via Zoom, they essentially had a custodial environment relationship with the minor child until she was removed from their home and mother moved the child to Michigan. At this time, we're concerned that there's extreme emotional and mental stress on the minor child. There's a substantial risk of future harm and current harm to her emotional health, her mental health, as she looked to these, my clients for that mental help, emotional help, financial help, physical help. They were there from the time she was born to the time she was removed. We're also concerned that mother is not introducing the father to the minor child. The grandparents in this case are essentially liaisons for their son, and would be able to keep his presence alive and very present in the front of the child's mind, so that when he is released, she would be able to have a relationship with her father. So we're just asking today that the court agree that we've produced by preponderance of the evidence that the parent's decision to deny grandparenting time is creating a substantial risk of harm to the child's mental, physical, and emotional health.
Thank you. Ms. Shire?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Just briefly in response, the statute in this case does state that a fit parent is able to make a decision about the relationship their child has with grandparents, and that the only way a court can order grandparenting visitation is in the case that it's a substantial risk of harm to the child to not have that relationship. So the statement here that there was a custodial relationship is not accurate. Astrid in this case was born December 15th of 2021, and the parties did live in the home of the petitioners until February. So there was 2 months where they were residing in the home with the petitioners. And during that time, my client provided all of the primary care for the child. There was never not even babysitting without her present. And after that point in time, she moved out. There was a substantial and rather extreme domestic violence incident where my client was abused, and where Mr. Geisler is now charged with multiple criminal charges, including child abuse. And so from February or March, rather, when that happened, until May of 2022, there were weekly dinner visits at the petitioner's home where my client would come with Astrid and they would have a dinner. And as we outlined in our response, and as we can provide testimony and evidence today of, those became stressful and harmful to both parties, to my client and her daughter, and so those ended. That's not a custodial relationship. And as far as the request, essentially, that the grandparents be able to continue the relationship to secure Mr. Geisler's parental relationship with Astrid, it's not necessary, because Mr. Geisler is alive and he is able to pursue his own parental relationship with his child. He may be prohibited due to being in prison and due to having pending criminal charges, including child abuse, but there are certainly ways that he can pursue his rights. It's not a situation where he's deceased and they're trying to maintain his memory or things like that. So that's just not an appropriate request from our perspective. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Stafford, you may call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Give me 1 second here. So I am first going to call my client, Orville Geisler. Okay, great. Can you explain to the court how you know the respondents in this case, both Hope and Jeremy?
Jeremy is our son, and Hope was his future fiance at the time. We knew them for a short time while Jeremy was living with Hope. And when the baby was born, they moved in with us. And we got to know them, or Hope and Astrid, very well from living in our home.
Okay. And I just want to kind of create a timeline for the court. So you met her, and by her, I mean Hope. You met Hope what year? Roughly.
A year prior to Astrid's birth.
Okay, so you've known her about 2.5 years?
I knew of her, but we did not meet her until closer to the birth time.
Okay. And where were they living? Where were Jeremy and Hope living prior to the birth of the minor child?
Hope had an apartment. I don't know if she was there by herself, but Jeremy was living with her. I know that they needed to move out of that apartment, and that's how they ended up living in the property that we own that they moved into.
Okay, so they moved into a property that you own. Is that a house?
It's a house right in a residential area on the north side of Sheboygan.
Okay, and how far is that from your home?
It's about 10 miles.
Okay, so it took you roughly how long to get there by car?
Oh, maybe at the most 15 minutes.
Okay. And how long did they reside in that home for?
I'd say approximately 6 months.
And did you see them frequently?
Yes, because I did the maintenance there. I cut the lawn, did minor repairs on the home. So I was there as often as Hope needed me to stop by, not to mention doing the lawn every week.
Okay. And were they paying you rent?
Yes, they were.
Okay. And then when the child was born, how did the living arrangements change?
At that time, when the child was born, they moved into our house. Gail and I have a house in Cleveland, and we helped them with having a newborn.
Okay.
Jeremy was working full time, and Hope was staying home and taking care of Astrid.
Okay. And so when she was at the home with you, when she was living with you, was she working? You said no?
No, she wasn't.
Okay. So she was there all the time with the minor child and you.
Correct.
Okay. And now it was my understanding that she had some recovery. Is that correct?
After the childbirth, I believe she had some physical problems that had to heal.
Okay. And so were you assisting her with, I'm assuming chores, cooking, things like that?
Oh, we took care of all of that.
Okay. And did you also take care of those things for the minor child?
Very little, because Hope was there 24/7.
Okay. And did you see the minor child how often?
Most every day.
Okay. And did you participate in activities with the minor child?
We would hold her and would talk to her. I know when I would tell her that she's such a big girl, then I'd get like a little smirk and her eyes would twinkle like she was understanding what I was saying.
And then how long did they reside in the house with you, the minor child and Hope?
I believe approximately 2 months.
Okay. And then they moved back into the previous home that you own, correct?
Correct.
And at that time, sorry, go ahead.
Jeremy is in the process of buying the home for them. Okay. It was my father's house. We paid for it, and Jeremy was paying the payments so that he would take it over eventually.
Okay. And then when she had moved back into the home, how long was Jeremy there for?
Oh boy.
I'm sorry, Ms. Stack. Do you mean the home?
Sorry, I apologize. The other home, the home that Hope and the minor child were residing in, that my clients owned, not their direct home, their second home. Sorry.
I would say 2 months.
Okay.
Not a little longer.
And then how long after that were Hope and the minor child residing there by themselves?
Well, 4 months.
Okay. And so during that 4 months, can you explain your relationship with Hope?
Well, I would go over and do the maintenance on the home, and I would call her when I'm going to stop over and take care of the lawn and things. And once a week, we had Hope and Astrid over. Gail would make a bigger meal on Sunday, and then whatever leftovers would be there, then Hope would take along home. They would stop over. They would have dinner with us. Usually we would go for a walk. In fact, near the end on my way home, there was a stroller at a home that was just free to the taking. It was a three-wheel jogging stroller. So then we used that stroller when we walked Astrid. And we live in a rural area, so we would just walk down the road and back again. It was never any long walks or anything like that.
And you were also seeing the child regularly as well as Hope.
Yes.
And were you providing any other assistance to Hope and the minor child other than, lawn care and maintenance of your, your de facto rental home?
In fact, Gail would supply diapers for Hope every week, or for Astrid, I should say, every week. Again, the food that we would have on Sunday, then she could take any leftovers home that were there, so she'd have something to eat during the week. Not that she didn't have anything to eat, but we just wanted to supply as much as we could for her.
And during those 4 months, are you aware if Hope was working?
From what I understood, no, she was not.
Do you know how she was paying you rent payments?
Pardon me?
Do you know how she was making you rent payments for her and the minor child without a job?
Well, she paid ahead on the rent with tax money that she had, and then Jeremy paid rent with his tax money. So she was pretty well set up through October, if I remember, of that year. Till the end of the year, with the rent payments.
Okay.
Between the two of them paying.
And then at the end of the 4 months, can you explain what happened?
It was very abrupt. I went over to do lawn and Hope was gone. Once a week at the end, Hope had a job in a music store for a few weeks. And we would stop and bring her favorite latte or cappuccino, whatever you want to call it. And one day, all of a sudden, they said she didn't work there anymore. And that's when I went over to do the lawn and she was gone.
Okay. And how did you know she was gone when you walked into the house?
Belongings were missing. In fact, the way the house was left, it was looked like it was a very rushed job to move out. There was clothes, there was things all over the house, like she was going through her drawers trying to pick out what she should take along. And I'm just assuming, because I don't really know if that's what really happened or not.
Okay. And did you attempt to reach out to her to see the minor child or find out where the minor child was?
Yes, we tried calling her. Our number was blocked. Gail tried messaging her. Our number was blocked. We tried calling her parents. Apparently, they wouldn't answer our number. The music store, our number was blocked. They wouldn't talk to us. So there was no way for us to communicate with her to even find out if Astrid was safe.
Okay. And how would you like to improve your relationship between you and the minor, you and Gail and the minor child?
We would like to spend time with her and be able to see her grow into a healthy child and then grow into a healthy teenager and a healthy parent eventually, if she has her own children. Jeremy is our only child, so Astrid is our only grandchild. So we would really like to be involved and be able to do all the things that grandparents do.
Okay. And has anyone thus far interfered with the relationship between you and the minor child?
The only one would be Hope, because we have no way to communicate with her to even know if Astrid was safe. And we found that she moved to Michigan with the help of friends that know how to use the internet. They found pictures of her and they forwarded those pictures to us.
Okay.
Again, we couldn't get any contact with Hope to find out if Astrid was even safe.
And what type of role do you think you have played in Astrid's life thus far?
Well, I think we were pretty good for her. Whenever she would see us, it would be like her face would light up. One of the last times that we saw her, Astrid saw Gail, and she started flapping her arms like she was all excited to go over by Grandma. Those two would sit in the chair, and Astrid would just be as content as could be sitting with Grandma.
And what strengths do you believe you have as a grandparent to Astrid?
Well, we would be able to furnish the things that we did for Jeremy when he was young. One of the biggest things was taking him for swimming lessons. He became a very big swimmer. He swam, his team went to state when he was in high school. So that's just one thing that I think would be helpful for her. Not to mention just the time with grandparents. I sort of missed that in my own life. My grandparents were in Germany, so I only saw my grandparents twice in my lifetime. And I felt like I missed a lot. We communicated with each other through mail. They spoke German, I spoke English, so it would sort of make a tough communication, but my parents would intervene and translate for us. So I think it's a very important part that a grandparent is around just to nurture and spoil the grandchild like grandparents do.
And do you believe that even though Astrid is young, that your relationship was very important to her?
Well, I believe that when she saw us, she would respond to us. Like I said, when I would tell her how she's getting to be such a big girl, it would like her eyes would twinkle and she would get a little smirk on her face. Again, being young, don't know if that was that she understood, but it sure seemed like it when I was talking to her. And she just lit up when she would be able to go to Grandma, to Gail. I think they even had a closer bond than I did.
Understood. Have you or Gail ever been convicted of a crime?
No,
Have you ever been involved in any matter considered criminal?
no,
Have you ever had a personal protection order issued against you?
no,
Do you ever routinely or excessively use illegal drugs or consume excessive amounts of alcohol?
no,
Has your grandchild ever witnessed you commit a violent act?
no.
All right. And what's your current status of your health? Are you in good health? Do you exercise?
Yeah, I'm in good health. I had bypass surgery 3-4 years ago, and since then I've been in real good health. See my doctor regularly. I do take a couple of medications to monitor my blood pressure and my cholesterol. But otherwise, I believe I'm in good health. Every day I come home and walk the dog that we have a mile at least. So I believe I'm in good health. I work full time yet. The dog that we have right now is a dog that Hope and Jeremy had for Hope's anxiety, and she sort of left that behind for us to take care of.
Okay. And would you be willing to sign a medical release of information form if necessary?
Oh, of course.
And do you believe the health condition that you did state, your bypass, would affect or impact your grandparenting ability, your parenting? I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. Your ability to exercise grandparenting time?
I don't believe so. Not at all. Like I said, I still work full time, so I'm able to take care of myself.
Okay. And you follow all recommended treatments from your doctor?
Correct.
Are there any effects of any medication you're currently taking?
No, other than it keeps my cholesterol down.
Okay. And do you have any mental health issues?
Not that I know of, no.
And are you currently under any treatment plan or receiving any therapeutic services recommended by a medical professional?
No, other than I just need to do regular exercise.
Okay. Had there ever been any arguments between you and the grandchild's parents in front of the grandchild?
No.
Have there ever been hostile interactions?
No.
Do you believe that your son or Hope speak poorly about you around the child?
We don't know because it's been 1.5 years since we've seen Hope or the grandchild.
Okay.
We know our son would never have spoken.
Okay,
for-
so Ms. Geisler, we can only have one person testifying at a time, so let's just keep that in mind. Ms. Stafford, your witness.
Do you do anything to interfere in the relationship between the parents and the grandchild?
No, not at all.
Have you
Said
ever
we
been,
have-
oh, sorry, go ahead.
We haven't seen him in such a long time.
And have you ever been reported for child abuse or neglect to CPS?
No,
Have you ever demonstrated violent behavior?
no.
Why do you believe mother is denying you access to your grandchild?
Well, and that we're trying to figure out. We supplied a very nice home while they were here. I don't know how things changed all of a sudden, and Hope sort of got a bad attitude towards us from what I understood. That's all that I know.
Do you think the grandchild is emotionally being emotionally harmed by the denial of the relationship with you?
Well, I believe that there's a lot of love that she's missing out on just from not having a grandparents around.
Are there any other issues you feel are important to share with the court today?
No, not that I can think of,
Okay,
other than we would really like to see our grandchild again.
understood. And I apologize if I just have a couple more questions, Your Honor. You stated you live in a rural area, correct?
Correct.
And do you own any weapons?
Yes, I have a hunting shotgun and a .22 rifle.
And are
And
they
I do-
locked? Sorry, go ahead.
What I used to use for hunting, but I don't hunt anymore.
Okay, so are those guns locked up?
Yeah, we have them locked up in a cabinet in our back room, which is way at one end of the house. And I have ammunition that's locked in my closet, which is at the other end of the house. So there's not much chance of anybody getting to it without being able to unlock the cabinets that they're in.
And how would you unlock them? Is it a keypad, a key?
A key.
Okay, a key. And you said the weapons were used for hunting and now they're just kind of sitting there?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever have to use, have you ever had to use them on your property with, dangerous rodents, raccoons, things like that?
Correct. I had to shoot a raccoon back it's about a year ago. There was a raccoon wandering on our yard during the daytime, staggering and having a hard time getting around. And from people I talked to, they said that's a bad sign that it may have rabies.
Was Hope living with you at that time?
No, she wasn't living here, but they were here visiting when the raccoon all of a sudden showed up in our backyard. Hope and Astrid were in our front room, which is the opposite side of the house. I went outside and disposed of the raccoon.
Okay. All right. I think that's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Shire, did you need a minute?
No, Your Honor, I'm ready.
Okay, your witness.
Thank you. Mr. Geisler, do you know how many times Jeremy, your son, was arrested for domestic violence when he was in a relationship with Hope?
No, I don't know the number. I know that they had a few disputes where there was a lot of yelling going on. And then the last one was the one when there was some physical violence.
When they were in a relationship, was he arrested for other charges that were not domestic violence?
Objection. I don't think this is relevant. We're discussing my clients having parenting time, not Miss Jeremy.
Your Honor, I can, so the relevance is simply that Mr. Geisler was arrested for marijuana charges, and that during that time, the marijuana plants were stored at the petitioner's home. And my questions relate to that, to their parents.
Overruled, your witness.
Thank you. So was Mr. Geisler, your son, arrested for marijuana related charges during Hope and Jeremy's relationship?
Correct.
And during that time, was he storing some marijuana plants at your home?
Not that we know of.
Okay, so you never saw marijuana in your home?
No.
Your Honor, may I screen share?
Granted.
Mr. Geisler, do you recognize the picture here? Do you recognize that yellow and orange wall?
Not really.
Is there a room in your house that has a yellow and orange wall like that see over in that left corner?
I know in Jeremy's house there is.
Okay, so your testimony is this is not a picture of your home.
I believe not, no.
Okay.
Can we clarify for the record what home are you referring to, not being his home as in his second home where the parties lived?
Sure. So, Mr. Geisler, your testimony is this is not a photo of the home that you live in.
Correct.
Okay, so you do not have a room in your home that has a yellow or orange wall like that little corner piece.
I know in the other house we do.
There's a green room in the other. Okay, all right. So when Jeremy was in jail, sorry, I'm going to try to stop sharing now. I'm going to show you one more thing, and you can tell me if this is your home or not. Okay, so this is a video of a room. Is this a room from your home?
Yes, that was Jeremy's room that we were setting up as a nursery.
And this is in the home, in your home that you live in?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna just play it one more time. So take a look at this wall here. Your testimony is that this is your home with a room that wall is in a room in your home, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you said you were setting this up for Jeremy?
Well, that was the room Jeremy painted many years ago.
Okay.
And he was trying to reproduce that in his house.
Okay, but this here is your home, you said. And so backing up, there's a weapon there and a weapon there. Is this the locked closet where you store your weapons?
No, that is not.
Were those your weapons in that video?
I couldn't tell, it was moving around so fast.
Okay, I'm going to try to just pause right here. Is that the barrel of a gun? Can you tell?
Oh yeah, that's Jeremy's BB gun.
Okay, and then I'm going to go a little bit further here and try to pause it. Is that a gun? It appears to be a gun.
I don't believe so.
All right, let me just go ahead and. So you can't tell if this over here in the left corner is a gun right here?
It looks like a cane.
Okay. All right, so
he had a couple of didgeridoos because he took a vacation or he went with people to Australia.
Uh-huh.
And he did have a couple of air rifles. Being in the country here and being a boy.
Okay, but so this right here, you're saying this is a cane and not a gun?
Right next to it, no. I'm looking at, from what I can understand, that looks like one of his air rifles.
Okay, and then can you see right here, these appear to be bullets. Do you see those in the plastic bag?
No, that I can't tell with the picture here.
Okay, so, but it's your testimony that although this here is your home and that you have this wall in your home,
Correct.
the picture here, that's not over here, that's not your wall in your room.
I don't believe so. It's so hard to tell with the Zoom pictures.
Okay, well, take a look at take a look right over here. There's some canisters. Do you see these colorful canisters on the right side of the picture?
I can sort of make it out, yeah.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna pull that same video of the room you confirmed to be yours back up, which Okay, so are you able to see the video again?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a look. Oh, there we go. So do you see that these colorful, I don't know if it's tape or canisters. Oh,
Well,
these are apparently are hockey pucks. Do these look familiar to you?
yeah, some of them are hockey pucks, and Jeremy used to make things out of duct tape, and he had all kinds of colors of duct tape. He's made wallets and other type things. He likes doing craft type
Okay,
projects.
so these you're agreeing these are in your home, and then I'm going to go back to this picture here. We see the same things here. Is that correct?
It almost looks like it, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop screen sharing for a moment. But your testimony is you never have seen that marijuana in your home, and you did not help him maintain marijuana plants while he was in jail, correct?
No, we did not. I know Hope brought that up in her statement too. I don't know if she's.
Okay, I don't have, there's not a question on the.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Is marijuana legal in Wisconsin currently?
I believe not.
Okay. Do you use marijuana?
Pardon me?
Do you use marijuana?
No.
Now, when Jeremy was arrested for domestic violence, did you ask Hope to help get the no contact order lifted?
Well, when she would come over and have meals with us, we would talk about how if she would, at that time, she still made us believe that she wanted to get together with him again and still wanted to be our daughter-in-law. And we would talk about how her testimony would either increase or decrease the amount of punishment that he'll get.
At one point, did you say to her that that Jeremy would have been better off if he had just killed her in terms of punishment?
Never.
Did you show up to her home unannounced, to her rental home, which was the home you owned?
Not that I can remember. I tried.
Did you ever leave flowers on her table when she wasn't home?
When I went in to I think she had a plugged sink, and then I brought, if I remember right, lilacs over.
Okay. Now, do you recall Hope saying to you that she didn't want to talk about the criminal case?
Not point blank, no.
Did she tell you it made her uncomfortable to talk about it?
I believe so. It made me uncomfortable also.
But you kept talking about it, right?
Well, I didn't keep talking about it. We would bring it up while we were walking, and
okay, so that's bringing it up while you're walking is talking about it, right?
Did not stress anything in any direction.
Your Honor, can I share screen again?
Granted.
Thank you. Okay, do you see this text message on the screen now?
Yes, but it's not really legible. I can't really read it.
Are you able to enlarge it on your screen? Are you able to see it now? Are you able to see it now, sir?
I'm reading it right now if you give me a moment to do it.
Okay, well, I'm actually going to ask you to read it out loud. So why don't you go ahead and, but I have a few questions ahead of time. Does this appear to be a text between you and Hope?
Objection. There's a lack of foundation here. I have no idea. There's no evidence of whose phone number this is. I don't know what the phone number is.
Well, that's why I just asked him if it appears to be a text exchange between him and Hope.
I'll allow it for purposes of foundation.
Am I allowed to answer?
Yes.
Okay, because it starts out, hey, Orville. So,
Mr. Geisler, the question was if you recognize this text message. I think that was the question. If you recognized or if you'd seen it previously.
I couldn't say for sure. It's been so long.
All right, then at this point, I guess I'll sustain the foundation objection. Ms. Shire, your witness.
Thank you. Well, let me just ask a question then. Do you recall Hope saying to you, I really don't want to talk about this any further, as this has been a huge traumatic event where I was strangled and beaten and could have
Objection,
watched.
hearsay, objection, hearsay.
I'm asking him if he, well, first of all, it's party's admission. And also I'm asking him if he recalls her making the statement to him.
No, I do not.
Well, okay, hold on. So I guess respondent is attempting to elicit testimony, which basically repeating the respondent's own statement about strangulation having occurred. So as asked, I am going to sustain on hearsay grounds.
Your Honor, so what we'll have to do is call my client to lay the foundation for these text messages and then recall Mr. Geisler, which just.
Understood. It'll take longer, but
You can certainly do that.
You can certainly do that.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to show you another text to see if you recognize it. I think it's, why don't you take a look at this text message and see if you recognize this message.
Yeah, I don't know what that conversation was all about. Again, this all goes back so far. We text message back and forth quite a few times, Hope and I.
So is this a text message that you sent Hope?
I believe so. I'm not sure what the context of it was.
Okay, but you agree that you sent it.
Yes, I don't know what the red part that's covered in red.
Okay. But that's okay. That you're saying you recognize the text of it, the words. Can you just read the words for us so we know what it is that you sent to Hope?
It's okay. It's hi. I just talked to Jeremy. You wanted to say thanks for checking into the child support deal right away this morning. That's what I can read.
Okay, and then what does it go on to say that's highlighted?
From what I understand, it's he wanted me to give you a message. You're the love of his life, and he missed his best friend and little rabbit. That's what he used to call Astrid.
Okay, and can you read the date on that text message?
No, it doesn't show on our screen.
Okay, it's in small text above the message. I don't know if you'll be able to see it.
Okay, well, we're trying right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, January 6th at 5:20 p.m. on a Monday.
Could that be June 6th? Take a look and see if that looks like a June.
Yes.
June
It
6th?
is June.
June 6th, okay. All right, and so where would Jeremy have been in June 6th after Astrid was born?
I believe he was either in the county jail or I believe he was in the county jail.
Okay, and do you know whether or not there was a no contact order between Jeremy and Hope at that time?
I believe there was, and that's why I was conveying the message.
Okay, and are you aware that with the no contact order, you're not supposed, Jeremy is not supposed to get messages to Hope in any way, not through somebody else?
No, I did not understand that.
But prior to relaying that message, Hope had told you she wasn't comfortable talking about it. Is that correct?
Again, I can't say if I remember. It's so long ago, and we had so many messages back and forth.
Okay. Were you also present when you and I think your wife gave Hope an Easter card from Jeremy?
Correct.
Okay. And so tell me, how did he write that card himself?
No, he did not.
Okay. So, Your Honor, again, may I screen share?
Granted.
Thank you. Okay. Is this a picture of the Easter card?
I believe so.
Okay, and then I'm going to just scroll down to the inside. So now you said he did not write the Easter card out. Who wrote the Easter card out?
Gail did.
Okay, and whose idea was that?
I believe we thought it was a nice touch.
Okay, was it your idea or was it Jeremy's idea?
Again, I can't remember, it so long ago.
Okay, and I don't recall. Do you recall when Easter was in 2022?
No, I do not.
That's fine. But it's safe. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, what is this leading to?
All right, so Mr. Geisler, your attorney will have to make any objections. Please just answer the questions asked. If an objection's made, don't speak until we've addressed the objection. But at this point, there's no objection, so please answer the question that was asked. Ms. Shire, if you want to go ahead and repeat that.
Thank you. So was it your idea for the card or was it Jeremy's idea? I can't remember if you asked that, if you answered that question.
Asked and answered.
Overruled.
Okay. So go ahead, you can answer the question.
Again, it was so long ago, I don't remember, but it may have been Jeremy's because Jeremy was still trying to continue their relationship. And at that time, Hope was saying that she still loved him and would hope things would work out again once he got out. And that's all I remember.
Okay, and so did you also, and you're aware that for the entire time he was arrested, even continuing until now, there's a no contact order between Jeremy and Hope, correct?
I understand that, but I didn't understand the rules of it. I thought if we were a liaison that would be all right.
And I'm going to have to object because we don't have a copy of this order. Some orders bar contact through a third party and some do not. So we don't know if Jeremy was even in violation of an order because we don't have a copy of this order.
Okay, sure. So we can certainly call someone from the sheriff's department at a later date and establish that there's a no contact order in place. If we're going to dispute that issue. So then did you also give her a card from Jeremy on Mother's Day?
Correct.
Okay. And as you testified, she did tell you she was uncomfortable. You just don't recall when, correct?
Correct.
At some point in time, did she ask you to not, let me back up. When she came on Sundays for dinner with Astrid, did you either make or accept phone calls from Jeremy while she was present?
There was a time that Jeremy called when she was here and we told her to go in the back room and she did.
Okay, so you didn't answer the phone and put it on speakerphone in her presence?
Not that I remember.
Okay, and do you recall her texting you or you and Gail and asking to not be present when he calls?
I believe so, but there wasn't any way that we could control it because he would just call because he wanted to talk to us.
Okay, and you could have not answered. Do you agree?
Yeah, we could have, and Hope could have left also.
Sure, she certainly could have.
Correct.
Yeah. So you also gave her a Mother's Day card from Jeremy, correct?
Correct.
And again, who typed up the message on the card?
I believe Gail did.
Who gave the words to the card?
I don't know.
Okay, so that you were not part of putting the words together.
Not at all, no.
And then also on Mother's Day, did you give Hope some Build-A-Bear gifts?
Correct.
And did those gifts contain verbal recorded messages from Jeremy to Hope?
Correct.
And so how did you coordinate the recording of those messages?
Over the phone.
Okay, and whose idea was that?
Back then, I can't remember.
Okay, who purchased the bears?
We did.
Okay. And was there also a bear for Astrid?
Correct.
Do you know whether or not there was a no contact order between Jeremy and Astrid as well?
No, I do not know. I don't think so.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. So, even though Hope told you she was uncomfortable, you continued to try to facilitate that relationship between Jeremy and Hope, correct?
Well, she said she was uncomfortable, but then she would say that she still loved him and hoped that things would work out.
Okay. And she was trying very hard for a period of time to maintain a relationship with you. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that. The same as we were trying to have a relationship with our granddaughter.
And she came, so between mid-March, when Jeremy was arrested, until early June, she came once a week to your home, correct?
Correct.
And
sometimes twice.
Okay, but
I'm sorry, I did not hear that last part, Mr. Geisler.
Sometimes twice a week.
routinely, though, it was one time, correct?
We had it set up that, yes, that's on Sundays, Gail would make a larger meal so that she would have a better meal for herself. And then we could see Astrid.
Okay.
And that was the only time that we would really be able to see Astrid.
Okay. And at the last visit, was that when you shot the raccoon?
I believe so, yes.
When
I was afraid with that raccoon wandering around with the dog that we had from Hope out in the yard, that there would be some problems. And like I said before, other people told us if the raccoon is out in the daytime staggering around, there's a good chance that the raccoon had rabies.
after you shot the raccoon, did you accidentally discharge the firearm inside?
No, I did not. In fact, I shot the raccoon and then I shot it again to put it out of its misery.
Okay, so your testimony is you didn't come indoors and there was not an accidental discharge of the firearm.
No, there was not.
All right, Your Honor, may I have just one moment?
Actually, counsel, we are going to have to stop there. I've got a hard 10:30 stop time on this hearing. I have to go into another hearing. The court is going to adjourn this matter and we will schedule a continuation date. How much time do you think we'll need? Again, just focusing on the court just wants to address the threshold presumption issue initially. Ms. Shire, how much time do you think respondent Bear will need?
Your Honor, I would just, at this point, I was planning on just calling my client, although I might need to briefly call somebody about the no contact issue. So I'm thinking, from my perspective, an hour and a half to 2 hours would be sufficient.
Ms. Stafford, how long do you think Petitioner Geisler will need?
I'm gonna guess probably around the same, because I'm gonna be calling Hope, Jeremy, and likely asking Gail some questions as well.
Okay, we'll set this for a half day. Otherwise, court will be in recess. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.